Okay, so for those who don't know me, my name is Ibrahima. I live in Senegal, and for now, I'm a freelance and indie iOS developer. You can find me anywhere, Twitter, X, and LinkedIn, mostly on Bionic 6. And I have also a YouTube channel that I don't frequently update, but here it is. So, before beginning this, I want to thank Phil for inviting me and all the conference organizers as well. And thank to you for attending this session. So now, without any further ado, let's see what we are going to talk about today. So for the agenda, we are obviously talking about Swift macros. So we're gonna see what they are first. After that, we're gonna discover some types, some macro types we have. And we are going to build our own macro, so some live demo. So those who know me know that, yeah, you can expect some live demo from me. Not one, but we're gonna build 2 macros. And after that, we are going to see the shortcomings when it comes to macro. Okay, so let's define what a Swift macro is. So Swift macros are just compiler plugins that extend the Swift language in certain way, right? They help you generate, at this essence, it is just here to help you generate some code, right? To eliminate some boilerplate code. So while you are building your macro, you are doing some kind of meta programming, right? Like a code that understands itself and can manipulate some other code, right? Okay. And why use them? Because they are cool, first, and they can perform some custom compile time checks, right? And emit helpful compiler errors, okay? So what are the macro types we have? We principally have 2 types, the freestanding one, okay, and the attached one, okay? We have a freestanding macro and an attached macro. And what is a freestanding macro? So for the freestanding macro, they appear on their own, so without being attached to any declaration. So they work on their own, okay? They always start with a pound sign, and generally they return a value. So for the freestanding one, we have some subcategories, some subtypes, like the freestanding expression and the freestanding declaration, okay? Now, for the attached macro, so the attached one are attached to a type or a function or something like that. So they modify the declaration that they are attached to. Okay, they always start with a not sign. And we do have some other types as well for the attached macro. Okay, we have the attached peer, the attached accessor, which work with accessor, the attached member attributes that works with attributes of a struct maybe, the attached member that work on a member, and attached conformance that works on protocols mainly. Okay, now that we know what are macros, so it's time to build a macro and see how it works, right? Okay, so let's fire up Xcode. I'm going to exit here and open Xcode. So I have set up here a macro, but in order to create one, it is really simple. So we have to create a new package. You can go File, New, and Package, okay? And in this template, you have now a Swift macro, right? So you can click Next to create your macro. You give a name, and it will create a macro. So I've already done it, and I have here a macro called SC demo, SC for SwiftCraft demo. And I haven't modified anything. So this is the structure you will have after creating a macro, okay? So here in the manifest file, we have the first import description, which is common for packages. What is new is this new Swift import compiler plugin support, okay? And this compiler plugin support is here, is coming with this new type, okay? This new macro target, okay? This will allow us to expand our macro basically, okay? And for the dependencies, we have here a dependency on Swift syntax, okay? So you can write a macro without using Swift syntax, but it will be really, really difficult to do so. So Swift syntax is here to help us streamline the macro process, okay? So it is advisable to use Swift syntax when it comes down to macro. But the only caveat is that Swift syntax is really heavy. It is a heavy dependency. So on build mode, it can take 30 seconds to build. Like if I do a clean build right now and try to build this project, you're gonna see I'm on M1 and you see that it is like loading the dependency because it is kind of heavy. And this is on debug mode. On release mode, it can be it can take something like up to 4 minutes, okay? So it is a really heavy dependency. So you should be aware of that. Okay, here it is, it built in less than 30 seconds, but yeah, you can see that the build was quite long, okay? So you should be aware of that. So for the target, we have the macro, okay, which is the macro we're gonna define here, okay, and we do have another target, the SZ demo, and an executable, okay, which is the client. So for the client, it is optional, this one, okay. This line is optional, it is totally optional. It is just here to show off the capabilities of your macro. But you can use it as a sandbox to experiment your macro, the expansion and so on. And we do have a test target as well, where the tests are hosted in order to just test the macros, okay? So here, if you can notice, you can, here we can go to the SC demo, and we're gonna find a freestanding macro in the template, okay? So we have here just the definition, okay? And the implementation is in another package, like the SC demo macros, okay? If we go back to the manifest file, here we have this SC demo target, but the implementation is indeed here in the SC demo macro. So let's see first the so let's see first the definition. Okay, so the template comes with this stringify macro. Okay, and it is a freestanding one. Okay, so it works by its own and it returns a value from the definition we gave earlier. It is a string. It is a freestanding one, and for the implementation here, you can see that it is an external macro and the module is defined in scdemo macros, which is here, right here, okay, right here, and the type is stringify macro. So if I expand this, we're gonna see that, like here we have this stringify macro inside the scdemo macros, okay? So here we have the implementation of the macro, and here we have the implementation. So if you remember back in the Objective-C era, this is exactly what we had. So we had a declaration in a file and the implementation in another. Why we have that in a Swift, like why we have that in Swift? It is just for us to for this macro to be for this declaration to be just integrated and not the implementation, because the implementation can be heavy and add a lot of in your app binary. So your app does just need the declaration. That's why it is in a separate package, right? Okay. So let's see the implementation now. Okay. So for the implementation, it is right here, stringify macro, which is an expression macro, okay? And so here we have Swift syntax, which is called. And like I said, in order to write macro, we will almost always use Swift syntax, okay? So now let's try to build and run this macro in order to see how it works. First, I'm going to the SC demo client in the main, okay? And yeah, let's run this and see the result of that. Okay, it does build. Okay, and here it is showing the value 42 was produced by the code A plus B, which is the result of this stringify macro, okay? And here, since we are in the client, we can like expand this macro and see what it does, okay? You can option click and see that the expansion is just a tuple of A plus B and the stringify version. Okay, so now let's go back to this macro, this implementation, and yeah, let's learn more about like Swift syntax, which help us write macros, okay? So I'm going to put a breakpoint here, but the thing is, like we said, macro are compile time, will at compile time, right? So there is no way to execute this breakpoint, right? For this breakpoint to work, we have to run actually the macro, right? So what we can do is every project, every macro project comes with some tests. So what we can do is we can go to the test. So we have here the first test for the macro, and we have actually two tests, okay? So what we can do is like setting here a breakpoint and going to the test and run the test, okay? Let's run the test, and boom. And now we have this breakpoint that is triggering. And now we can like experiment, okay? So Swift syntax is kind of weird, okay? But we can see like, what do we have here? We have an expansion of node, which is some kind of freestanding macro expansion syntax, which is a protocol, right? And another protocol here, macro expansion context. What we can do is try to see the node first, okay? We do have this. Let me maybe zoom, okay? We have this, and we can go forward, try to see the node we have. I think we have elements in the node, if I'm not mistaken. Or definition, something like that. Let me see. Argument list, yeah, thank you. Not that argument list, okay. We do have an argument list. And in the argument list, you can see that we have the identifiers for this macro, right? We have A plus B plus, we have A, which is an identifier, B, which is another one, and B, okay? A plus B, and we can do some interesting things like for the argument list, we can get the first one and get the expression, which is just n-fix operator expression syntax, right? Okay, we have this n-fix operation syntax So we can cast it to, I think we can do as and fix operation syntax self, and we can use like the code completion, okay, to see. So we have a left operand, for instance, okay, which is A. Maybe we have a right, yes, right operand, which is B, and we have just operand, which is the plus, okay? Great. So this is like an example of a macro, and here is like the main entry point of a macro, right? So when you have several macros, so you will typically add them here in order for the package to know that this macro is available and it is going to expand that macro on compile time, okay? So we are going to create actually two macros, okay? The first one, I'm going to go to the SC demo, and this is here where we add the definition of our macros, right? So I'm going to add a first one called the secure URL, right? And what this macro is doing is just ensuring that the URL is HTTPS, right? So let's, we have added this, this definition. The second thing you should do is you should definitely add like a test, okay? You should have a test that, that is a representation of your macro and its expansion, okay? Let me add that test here. I do have test secure URL happy path, I think. Let me, yes, okay. Let me just delete this. Okay. So what is my macro doing? So I should have something like this, secure URL, where I give the secure URL, which should begin by HTTPS, and the expanded source should be URL string HTTPS and give you the URL. Okay. So this macro doesn't exist yet. I mean, we have it here. We have added here the definition. But we need here, okay, for the implementation to add it, okay? So for the implementation, what we are going to do is first creating the file. The file was created, and we have it here. So it is an expression macro, and expression macro is mostly a freestanding macro. So this one is going to work by itself and return a value. After that, we are going to implement this protocol method expansion that we have on the that we have here as well on the stringify macro. Okay, and after that, we are going to have the argument. We're gonna take the argument from the argument list. Okay, and take some and extract the segment of inside the argument. So we should make sure that it is just one argument. So we are not allowed to write secure URL, HTTPS, Google, and comma, HTTPS, like Apple, etc. So here, we just verify that it is indeed just one argument, okay? And after that, we verify that the first argument, the value, begin with an HTTPS, okay? And if it doesn't, we throw an error, like not HTTPS. And here, if we don't have like one argument, we throw yet another error to say that it is not a string literal. I could throw yet another error. It doesn't matter. And if all these paths are correct, are happy, here we return the URL with with the argument, okay? So now let's just add this URL error enum. And I think that we are done with this macro actually. Okay, so what we need to do actually is to take this secure URL macro and add it to the list of compiler plugins, right? In order for the compiler to know that this is a macro and to expand it, okay? So we need to add it to this list, okay? We have now a secure URL. And let's run this test to see if we have indeed this macro working. Finger crossed. Okay, I think we had made a mistake here in the test. Expected, maybe, okay, let's do this and let's run it again. Okay, and here we have a failing test. Why it is failing though? So the output, yeah, the output is different. Okay, so we are expecting actual expanded secure URL. Okay, so the expansion didn't work. Let's see why. Okay, so let me here come to the secure URL, https ://google.com. Okay, and let me okay, URL expression of URL. Okay, I can just say URL equal. Okay, so let me expand this. Okay, so the expansion does work indeed. Okay, it is a URL and the expansion is URL string. Okay, so let me, I will just like, okay, go to the, okay, so here I need to definitely import foundation in order for him to see the URL. Okay, let me build again. The test, I mean, the test is still failing. Sorry, okay, let me see. Line 12. Oh, 12. Oh, yeah, you're right. So I didn't, indeed, I didn't include the secure URL. Thank you. Let's see now. Okay, thank you, Daniel. Good. The dark side of live demo, of course. Okay, thank you. So you have indeed to include the macro you are testing here in the test as well, in the test macro. Okay, so it is expanding and working just fine. Okay, so this is a freestanding one. Okay, like you saw here, the URL is of type URL, and the expanded code, like here. Let me expand it. Actually, I didn't have any more. I have to go to the client. Maybe let me build here and expand it. Okay, and here you can see that the expansion is just a new URL. Okay. Okay, so now let's try to implement now another macro, which is now an attached macro. And an attached macro is here to be attached to something, like to a protocol, maybe a function or a struct or any other type. Okay, so here I have a listable properties macro, and the role of this macro is going just to iterate over all the properties we have in the attached type. Okay, it can be a struct or a class or something like that, but it's gonna to iterate over all the list of the property and print it down. Okay, yeah, we are just going to do this for fun. Okay, so we have, I've already created the file. So we have the list property macro here defined, which is an extension macro. And for the expansions this time, we are going to override to implement this method, okay? And here we just take the variables of the attached type, okay? All the variables that are not static here. And for the variable name, we are going to loop over them and have the identifier, the text here, okay? Like if we have a struct and inside we have a property called name, here we can just have the name as a variable, okay? And after that, we are going just to create an extension of the type attached, of the attached type, and add properties here, okay? And inside that properties, we are just going to loop the variable names, okay? Now we can go to the test, and here we can implement the test listable properties here. So it should look like that, okay? So here, for instance, we have this person struct and this tag, this attach macro, which is listable properties, right? And for this person, we have the name, age, address, and a variable like is engineer. And the expanded source should be the struct, the type, and with an extension, okay? So here we should have an extension and inside a property, okay? And this property is just going to output the list of the properties we have for that type. So we shouldn't forget to uncomment this line, okay? And for this listable macro properties, we are also going to add it in our list here. Really important to add it in our list. Okay, that's self, right? And now let's test this to see. Okay, we have yet another. Okay, it is incomplete. Okay, we need to return that syntax. Okay, for now I think, yeah, we build successfully, and now let's run the test to see. Okay, the test is succeeded, and which mean that our macro is expanded correctly. And what we can do is just have this macro, boom, and pass it maybe here in the demo, okay? And indeed see a no attribute. Let me see why a no attribute. Let me go to the package build and run. Unknown listable properties. Why? Let's see why. Uh, um, okay. I think it is listable properties macro. Okay, it is unknown listable properties macro. Let's see the test. A little bit confused, but let's. Which line? 35 here. Oh yeah. Yes. I didn't. Why? Yes. Probably. Yeah. At the bottom here. Yeah. Why that? It's weird. Okay. Let's build and run. Okay. Let me comment this for now. Okay. The tests are working. Okay. Boom. Let's go to the client now, and let's make sure that actually this is This is, okay, it is called, the breakpoint is being called, perfect. I think now it's gonna work. Let me see. Let's go to the test again and take this, boom, here you go. Okay, let's go to the client, with the client. It is still not working. It is still not working, but it is expanding. I think it is expanded. Yeah, I think, but let's see if it is called secure. We have secure URL macro. It is called listable property macro, right? Okay, let's see. At listable, okay, at listable property macro. And now let's expand it. I think, yeah, okay. Phew. So we have its properties that are iterated, and we have the result here, right? Okay, so now I think it is all I have for the demo. And now let's go back to the slides and let's play this. Okay, now let's talk about the shortcoming when it comes to macro, right? So the first one is that the Swift syntax is really difficult to grasp, right? Like it is really difficult. I mean, you have to experiment a lot to get them right, right? If you want to write macro. So for me, one of my wish list this WWDC is to have something more accessible in order to write macro, okay, for all of us. And the macro are not trivial to debug. You see, in order to debug some errors here, you have to be really picky, really careful, okay? And you have to set some breakpoints in order to know what happens. And we did test the happy path, but testing macros can be really difficult, really. What I mean is that here, if I come here in one of my macros, like let's say that here for this macro, let's say that I try to format this code, right? And build and run again. This test is going to fail, right? Because it is expecting like the macro is correctly formatted. Like here is just a format, like I just format this macro, but the result should be the same. Like this is a valid Swift code, okay? It is a valid Swift code, but here it is expecting that I do this as well and have the correct format, okay? The correct formatting. So this can be really difficult to debug, especially if you have like, this is like 1-3 line of codes, but imagine having like something like 100 to 1,000 line of code. So this inserting just a white space can lead to a failing test. And you'll be wondering why my test failed, okay? So this can be really difficult to debug, okay? And yeah, so this is all I have for you today, guys. So this is a recap. So we'll see what are macros, the different type of macros. We did create 2 of them, and we did see the main problem we have in using macro. So this is a resource, so you can just screenshot it or take a picture. But it is just a repo to see all the available macros, the resources when it comes to macro, the available macros that the community did wrote we have some interesting one. So you could just explore them. And here is my contact on X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And voila. Thank you for your attention, guys.